Hi everyone, it's Middle-Aged Beginner here. Today I'm reviewing the Black Sheep Rocket, which is I guess a beginner level takedown recurve. I purchased this from Apex Hunting in Australia. So this is how it arrived, more or less. So the riser was in bubble wrap. And the limbs were just wrapped in plastic with a little bit of foam on the ends to protect the knocking point. So it's quite a simple, understated bow, which I really like. This is a 24-inch riser, which was $90, and these are just 26-pound limbs that take the whole bow up to 68 inches. So it's relatively light, but I'm an absolute beginner, and I guess the size is what was recommended for somebody my height. So it took 10 days to arrive after I placed the order. That's because Apex Hunting apparently have a huge store, and it takes about a week for the items to get from the warehouse into the shop where the orders are collated and sent out. Now it did come with this arrow rest, just a super rest. It's white. I wish it was black, so I've brought a black one, which I'll replace this white one with when it dies, and it's already getting a bit ratty after a few weeks. It didn't come with a string, which is a bit annoying. Some of the competitor bows you can get often come in a set with the limbs and the riser and a string. But what does this really line up against? It's probably lining up against the Samick Polaris and the various clones of that, or very similar bows like the Cartel Triple, the WNS Otima or Alpha, the Razorback or the PSE Razorback. All of those tend to have a relatively nice plain wood, sometimes with lines, natural wood coloured riser, usually a bit more chunky than this, and white limbs with bold writing all over them. And look, to be honest, one of the bows I did try and get early on was the Samick Polaris. I just couldn't find that anywhere in Australia with 26 pounds. So look, I ended up with this one. Now, it looks to be reasonably good quality. When the first time I unpacked it, really no complaints. So it's got a matte paint finish, which looks really nice. Now the thing with the paint, I dinged it here, and I'll just cover that later with a black marker. It did come with a small little mark somewhere along here, and I just used a permanent marker, and you cannot tell, but the paint finish is not as robust as, say, anodized aluminium or something like that. So it looks really nice. To me, it's got quite a narrow grip, and that was the first thing I noticed. And when I first started shooting with it, it's so small for my hand, in a sense that my pointer finger really didn't know where to go, and at that stage I was really trying to grip the thing and like control and really hold it quite hard, and I've since learnt that that's not how you're supposed to hold a bow. It's really supposed to sit to the left there, I guess, of your lifeline, and really it's just, you can almost have your fingers up, but you're not supposed to really grip it. It's the tension from the string that pulls it against you, and since I started doing that, it shot a lot well, and it's quite comfortable. So when I was really gripping it for my life, I did get a bit of a blister here. So It's got a hole for a plunger, it's got some holes for a sight. You could also put a stabilizer on there. I'm not going to bother with those things at this stage. It's not ILF fitting, it's just a sort of proprietary screw-on limbs, and let's just put it together. It doesn't take too long. So noobs, which I am, you just have the writing facing the right way when you slot it in. And the other thing is, a lot of people naturally sort of think, oh, it should look like that. With a recurve, you start like that, and then it gets pulled back. Actually, I'll just speak about the limbs before I put them on. This is fiberglass with a wooden core. I can see there's like at least two pieces. There's a thicker piece. There's no excess glue. It's got a groove for the string. The knock's quite refined. It doesn't look cheap and nasty, so I'm quite happy with that. And it's not too hard to attach. Obviously not as quick as an ILF, but this cost me $200 plus $28 for shipping, and I wasn't sure if I was, really going to get hooked in archery. Long story short, and I should probably save this for the conclusion, just having fun with this bow, I'm hooked. I love it. I'm just really enjoying it. Thought I'd try something new during COVID-19, and this has been just great shooting at home. Now 26 pounds is not a lot, but it's enough for me to get started. I'm 50-ish, and the first few times I pulled it back, it's, you're using muscles you don't normally use in your back, but I'm not finding it difficult at all now, and I think my next bow will probably be 32 or maybe 35 pounds. Now you notice I say next bow. I'm not sure where I'm heading after this. I could keep this for quite a while. I'd really like to go into an archery shop. They've been closed for most of the time due to COVID-19. So I'm happy with this for the time being, but this bow's got me hooked on archery, which is a really positive thing. Now, it's described as an excellent choice for beginners, growing archers and clubs. They describe it as a cut above some of its competitors. Like I say, they're all sort of wood finish or solid wood, and usually white limbs. It looks nice. It's got plenty of accessory capability. It didn't come with a knocking point, it didn't come with a string. Some of the other bows they'll throw in the string with it, some of the beginner bows. This one didn't. Now the other competitor one I'd mention is the Samick Sage, and there's a whole lot of clones of that, like the Black Sheep Nova. Black Sheep also have an Apollo, which competes very similar looking in pricing to the Samick Polaris, which if you've spent 5 minutes on the internet you'll know about. So I'm just going to string this up. So what's it like to shoot? And I'll show you in a second. 26 pounds, it's quite easy. Now it felt strange at first. If you are testing them out, you're not supposed to release and dry fire. It does stack probably a little bit, like just that last bit it really comes on. It's relatively smooth, and at 26 pounds it's not bothering me, but could just be my poor old muscles. Now, if you're a beginner, the first arrow you fire will always go higher than you think, because of where your eye is if you're aiming from the point of the arrow. Now I've put a knocking point in there. I haven't shot today, so this will be fun. Now, when I first fired it, it was kind of exhilarating, and it still is. At 26 pounds, 4 or 5 meters, and it really goes off with a thump. So I'm shooting a morel yellow jacket. That was a bad shot. What happens when you're talking and shooting. So it doesn't shake, it doesn't rattle, it's not too noisy. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it. Now the other thing is, I have to aim lower and to the right of where I want the arrow to go, and I think that's just because my anchor point isn't over the eye, isn't over the arrow completely. So also the only arrows I could get are probably too stiff for this bow. Yeah, so that was, I'll show you in a second what I managed to do. So before I do that, just to summarize, this is not a high-end bow, but it's not a cheap toy. It looks nice, it feels nice. I reckon this will last years and years. It's got plenty of options if you wanted to add bits and pieces and things. It's even got a bit of a curve there, and I reckon you could shoot off the shelf if you wanted to. It's different from all the white beginner bows, the Polarises and things like that, the white and natural wood. It's been perfect for me to get started. The negatives, initially I thought the grip was too small, but once I actually tried to grip it properly, it's been fine. So it's been perfect for me to start. I would recommend this to anybody who's getting started, wants something that really will last quite a while. Nothing too fancy. $200 with the exchange, the rubbish exchange rate's amazing. It would have been nice if they'd included a string. That was another $14 or $15. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm glad I got it, and it's just shooting this is giving me an idea where to next. You know, just it's good enough to give you a bit of a foundation. Do you enjoy archery? You know, do you want to head sort of more for hunting or competitive target shooting? I'm probably just going to be recreational. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it. So that's the Black Sheep Rocket, and I'll show you my crappy shooting down there into the bathroom. So I was just trying to shoot around, but then I was talking and I put 2 into the lower one. So look, that's not too bad. I hit 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 5 I was aiming for. Black Sheep Rocket, available from Apex Hunting in Australia.